Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand Car Bridge. We've had a few problems, thankfully not in the car, but we've had a few problems with the internet, but we are live and we have got a show for you and we've got lots to talk about. Ten Hag went double Dutch today. He's now going to go triple and quadruple Dutch, or sign 3 or 4 players instead of 1 or 2. Lots to get into. Want to talk about Malacia, want to talk about where United, and it's just been a crazy day. I mean, and also I do think that Arsenal's impact is going to be quite big as well, because effectively they have missed out to Rafinha. They really want Lisandro Martinez. Chelsea have swooped in and taken Rafinha. So effectively, are they now going to be looking to go and be more aggressive with Lisandro Martinez, and what will that mean for Manchester United? So look, really interesting and exciting day. Obviously it started off with De Jong coming in, not coming in, don't want to say that, bloody hell, don't want to say deal done before people are allowed to say deal done, but yeah, we're going to get De Jong. We're going to get De Jong. I mean, I still wouldn't say 100%. I'd probably say 99.9%. You never know. Somebody could swoop in, a la Arsenal. I think Rafinha saw the all or nothing preview at 4 o'clock and said, nah, nothing, thanks. I'll go to Chelsea. But no, we'll get De Jong. And then Malacia is really interesting. We've spoken about Malacia on this channel, actually. And I don't want to go over what Beth went on at 4 o'clock, but obviously I haven't had my opinion on the Malacia deal. 22 years of age, really aggressive, modern fullback. I was joking earlier that I think Tellez, who's not even back in training yet, probably turned on local sports news or national news, wherever he is at the moment, and went, oh, shit, because his career is basically over. And I mean, look, Tellez, I don't really have a bad word to say about Tellez. I think some people, when they decide a player's not good enough, they automatically start saying, bad things about them. I did find it interesting about McTominay. I'll talk about that in a bit. But in relation to Tellez, I just think ultimately he wasn't good enough. And I think he was our third choice left back anyway. Some people would say, well, is it the end of Luke Shaw? What I like about Malacia, and I will say this, is that we do need 2 fullbacks. I'd love to bring Dumfries in to battle with Delo and have Malacia with Luke Shaw, which is what we're looking like doing. But I think the great thing about this Malacia deal is that it just shows that United, now that we've resolved this De Jong deal and we know what we're going to pay, around 56 million up front, and add-ons will be paid in the future, it means you can then go and spend 13 million on Malacia, which is next to nothing, and go, well, that takes us up to 70. That leaves us with another maybe 70 to spend on a centre-back and a winger, and hopefully we get Anthony in as well. So maybe another 80, whatever. But, I'm balancing that up. We're talking about, we know we've got about 120 million quid to spend. What about with sales on top of that? Because we know Tellez is probably going to go, Brandon Williams, Twan Sebi. So really, really like this Malacia signing. Do I think he'll take Luke Shaw's place? I don't. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Malacia is the best left back in the world. I can do. I have seen TikTok and some clips on YouTube, but I'm not going to sit here and do that because I haven't seen loads of him. But we mentioned him on this channel many a time. We spoke about him back in May as a player that I knew Erik ten Hag really liked this player. I said it time and time again. I was well told that Ten Hag wants Malacia and he wants Dumfries. I don't think he'll get both. We probably won't get Dumfries now, but he knew he wanted fullbacks and he knew who he wanted. And it was all about whether it could be done. And I think with Malacia, we spoke about it time and time again. I think I spoke about it 2 weeks ago about Malacia and Lyon, and said the issue is Lyon want him now and they're negotiating now. Manchester United are sort of saying, well, we do like you, but we might not be able to buy you till August. We might not be able to buy you till July. And it was like whether he wanted to wait and see. And for some reason, there has been a bit of delay, and it's allowed us to swoop in and do a deal, knowing that we've got that money to do it because we know what we're spending on De Jong now. So, yeah, I think it's a real positive. Also, just before I talk about signings 3 and 4, because De Jong and Malacia, I mean, we may well get deal done with De Jong tomorrow. We may well get that. It won't be from the club. I think it will be from an Ornstein or a Romano. I think we may well get that tomorrow. But what we will get is Donny van der Beek, Malacia, De Jong. That's 3. Then potentially Anthony, a centre-back, and Eriksen. That's 6 players that are Ten Hag players. And I know Van der Beek is not a new signing, but he is a player that's had a really shit time at Manchester United, who is effectively like a new signing. His journey at Man United starts now with a manager that he's got a great relationship with. And we talk about toxicity in the dressing room. We talk about the issues of last season, and they were definitely there. But you know what? When you've got De Jong, Malacia, Van der Beek, Eriksen, a centre-back, and Anthony. That's 6 players. That's a clique. That's a set of players that are not interested in what went on last season. It's nothing to do with them. They're here to play for Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. And yes, the vast majority of them are probably going to be Dutch, but it's more about a clique that's with the manager. And that can be half of the team. That can be half of Manchester United's team. So I think this is really interesting. And I think it's about building. There's lots of feedback that the players really love the attention to detail to Erik ten Hag. I tell you right now, let's not confuse the positivity of Ten Hag and this summer transfer window and the excitement of next season with let's give everybody a second chance. Erik ten Hag could walk on the middle of that training ground tomorrow, do a big dump, and the United players would applaud it. They're desperate to stay. They're desperate to put a smile on their face and stay. And as I said, for me, some of these players, they don't prove they deserve a second chance because they've got a smile on the face with a picture on TikTok or whatever. They prove they deserve a second chance by playing well consistently for 10, 20 games in a row next season when it really matters. And when you talk about someone like Malacia coming in, very exciting player, 22, he's a player that Ten Hag wants, which is most important. But when you talk about a player like that, you're also talking about, well, what does that mean for Luke Shaw? Now, I like Luke Shaw, but he's one of those players that can't just turn up to training with a smile on his face. He's got to play well, like he did the season before last, week in, week out. That's what these players have got to do, and that's what Erik ten Hag will demand. And if the players come back and they start doing that, I'd be very pleased with it. But look, very, very pleased with the activity today. Long way to go. I'll still say that if we don't buy a defensive-minded midfielder, it won't be there is no way we can achieve a 10 or a 9 out of 10 transfer window. I think we're staring down De Jong, Malacia, a centre-back, Anthony and Eriksen. That, to me, will be Man United's summer. 5 players. De Jong, Malacia, Eriksen, centre-back, Anthony. We may not end up with all of those. Maybe Eriksen will still turn us down. I'll talk about him in a minute, but I think that's our summer. That's what we're looking at. And I would give that a 7.5, maybe even an 8 out of 10. I'm disappointed not to get a holding midfielder. But let me just mention Arsenal very quickly, because they are a wounded animal at the moment. Did you see the Amazon Prime All or Nothing advert? They're fuming. No, they're not fuming about that. They're fuming about missing out on Rafinha. And who is a left-footed Brazilian winger that they could go for that plays on the right-hand side that's not Rafinha? Well, Anthony. They wouldn't be surprised having missed out on Rafinha. They can't. Arsenal have had a reasonable transfer window. They've got Jesus in, they've got that Vieira in, they thought they were going to get Rafinha, they're bidding for Lisandro Martinez. That would have been a really good transfer window for them. Suddenly, Jesus, Vieira are in, but they don't get Rafinha. They miss out publicly. That deal was nearly done. They've missed out publicly. Then now, everyone knows they're bidding for Lisandro Martinez. Can they afford to miss out on him as well as Rafinha? So I think this is going to make our transfer window very interesting now, because we know what we're paying for De Jong. We've gone in for Malacia. What we know from today, and I've not heard anybody talk about this yet, but what we know from today is that Man United are no longer in that position where it's about waiting for De Jong before they do any other business. We've proved today, all right, it's only 13 million quid, but today we've gone and swooped in late. Fabrizio Romano, 2 days ago, tweeted out, done deal, Malacia, Lyon. He even replied to a Lyon fan and said, don't worry, it's done. I'm not picking on Fabrizio there. I think he's brilliant. I think he was absolutely spot on. You know, I know Sky said this morning 65 million euros and people are giving them credit. I'm like, were you in a coma yesterday? Fabrizio Romano and a couple of other journalists said 65 million euros yesterday. Give them the credit. So what it shows is that, you know, even the most observant and careful journalist can get things wrong if somebody swoops in at the very last minute. And we've swooped in at the last minute. Malacia to Lyon, I think we all expected it to happen. We've swooped in at the last minute. The brilliance of this is that it shows that we are now in a position to swoop in. If we want Lisandro Martinez and we want to swoop in and take him away from Arsenal, we are able to do it now. We are ready to go for Anthony as well. So I think that, yes, Malacia and De Jong, done. And I think we're going to move quickly over the next 7 days in relation to the centre-back and the winger. And if we get Eriksen as well, I dare to dream and say we could have our transfer. We could have all our transfers done by the middle of July at this rate. Malacia is very quickly done. De Jong's done very, very quickly. We know we want Anthony, and if we want Lisandro Martinez, then we move for that quickly. I actually still hope that we get. I've just been told we've got 31,000 people watching. Legends of the chat, make sure you smash the like on the video and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're doing it in the car. I think that's why people are watching. Don't worry, there's nothing going on below. I know some people do things like that in a car, but not me. The only thing in my lap is a few notes. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on. I think that where we are is rather exciting. And look, I will just say this. Lisandro Martinez, a lot of people want Lisandro Martinez, right? I'm not massively bothered. And I know people won't like this. I'm not massively bothered if Arsenal take their top off, get their pecs out, flex their muscles and say, top off, not pants, take their top off, flex their muscles and say, there's 50 million euros for Lisandro Martinez. We're not losing this battle. Ajax take it, we go, we're not paying that much, and then we go and get Pau Torres for 40 million euro or 45. So I'm not bothered if we go for Pau Torres over Lisandro Martinez. I still think there's an opportunity for Timber. I mean, I was speaking to somebody today about this, and look, it wasn't that we're going to sign Timber. We were just talking about the Timber story and what happened with Manchester United there and how it looked like it was going to happen. And we'd done the personal terms and it was just about a fee with Ajax. And then he went on bloody international duty and now it's gone very, very quiet. I think if Arsenal get Lisandro Martinez, we won't get Timber. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if we got Timber and Arsenal don't get Lisandro Martinez. I mean, I actually think the centre-back situation will move very quickly now because it has to move quickly because Arsenal are going to move quickly. And we might end up in a position which Arsenal had just now with Rafinha, where basically Arsenal missed out on Rafinha because they were negotiating a cheaper price. I think they thought they had a clear run and Chelsea just went in and went, boom, there's some cash, there's the peas. And Chelsea and Arsenal were blown out of the water effectively. That could happen with us. Arsenal could just go and give Ajax the silly money they want for Lisandro Martinez. And I would expect, look, if Arsenal offer 40 million or 45 million for Lisandro Martinez, they're overpaying. I'm sorry. I don't think Timber or Lisandro Martinez are worth any more than 35. So, it is going to get interesting. If I was Manchester United, you know what I would do? Because we need a centre-back and we need, and I'll talk about Eriksen in a minute, but we've got the left-back in Malacia, we've got De Jong, obviously barring any miracles, those deals will happen. We now move on for transfer 3 and 4. I'd go to Ajax and I would say there's 85 million for the two. Ajax and Timber, there's 85 million for the two. Let them figure out what I'm offering for each. I might be offering 50 for Anthony and 35 for Timber. I might be offering, 55 for Anthony and 30 for Timber. But I'd say 85 million there for Timber and Anthony. Take it or leave it. See what they do. I'm sure they'll say, we want 100. We want 110. But I'm hoping, as I said this morning, that there might be a little bit of Ajax going, you know what? Eric's building a little Ajax at Manchester United. This could be great for our reputation if it works out well. They've got De Jong, they've got Van der Beek, they've got Timber, they've got Anthony, they've got Ten Hag. This could be great for the reputation of Ajax. I know I'm dreaming a little bit, but look, I would do that. There's no point really in getting a good deal with De Jong, getting a good deal for Malacia, and then getting involved in a bidding war with Arsenal for Lisandro Martinez, who, as good as he is on, he ain't worth more than 40 million quid. And also, Lisandro Martinez is 5'10". Left-footed. I like that. He's left-footed, but Pau Torres is over 6 foot and left-footed. So all I'm trying to say is, look, if we get Lisandro Martinez, I'll be very happy. If we got Timber, I'd be even happier. If we got Pau Torres, I'm not disappointed. I do think there's a good player there in Pau Torres. So, I'm good by that. I tell you what, I'm very lucky that it's still the summer in the UK because it is coming up for 9 o'clock at night, I think. And normally it'd be very, very dark. But I want to talk about a few other bits as well. We've got a lot of people watching, and make sure you smash a like and subscribe. This is a unique stream. Big shout out to Drawty. He came up with the idea of working this technology out because I've had a few problems with Tinternet. So yes, Malacia. I'm enjoying today. I am enjoying today. I'm enjoying the fact that we've got a bit of positivity. I always said United would do business. I know people were getting very stressed, but I always said, and many of you agreed with me, we were going to do business. I know a few people going, "Oh, we're just not going to buy anybody." Man United have always maintained they know what they're doing. They will do business, and they were always going to have days where they win. But there will be other days in this transfer window where we're moaning at them again. And ultimately, it will always be about August the 31st, what the net spend is, who we've bought and who we've sold. United have still got time. The genius of today is that they've done 2 deals very quickly. I know they're not done deals yet, but they are quick deals, and I think that helps a lot. But I think that where we go next is going to be very important, and I do expect signings 3 and 4 to come in very quickly. And I do just want to hammer home something that people won't talk about. I heard somebody saying, "Oh, he's just buying Dutch players and people that he knows." What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? We had the most toxic dressing room most people can remember in their lifetimes. I had people messaging me saying, even when we got relegated, I don't feel that the team was as toxic as this. What's wrong with Erik ten Hag picking players that he knows he can trust? Donny, De Jong, Malacia, a centre-back from Ajax, Antony, Eriksen. He knows all these players. He only needs 2 or 3 of the current players to be on his side, and he's got basically over half the squad on his side. He's going in as a new manager, and he's not having to worry about people stabbing him in the back, because he goes, "You know what? De Gea's a model professional. He can go in goal. Dalot's steady. He can play at right back. I've got Varane, who's a world-class professional. I brought a centre-back in. If Luke Shaw doesn't perform, I've got Malacia. I've got Frenkie. I've got De Jong and Eriksen, who can play as my midfield 3 if all the midfielders can't be asked. I've got Ronaldo, who's always going to put in a shift. I've got Antony off the right, and I like Sancho." He's picked a team there without, and I'm not saying that he's going to drop Maguire, Luke Shaw, Bruno, and Rashford and everyone. What I'm saying is, if a lot of those players are still a problem, he's basically he's buying a core of players that can go straight into the team and be his team. So I think it's clever from Erik ten Hag. I don't think he needs to worry about people stabbing him in the back initially anyway, because they'll all be eager to please. They've had a break and they know that they failed last season. But oh shit, bloody hell! The cat's just jumped on the bonnet. Fucking hell! I shit myself. Bloody hell! The fuck was that? Tell you what, if you could see, I look down, I look up, and there's a bloody cat staring through this bloody windscreen. Mother of God! I nearly had a bloody heart attack on stream. Bloody hell! Tell you what, I ain't never going on a safari park and looking down. Imagine if it was a bloody lion. This is why I won't go in a shark cage. I'll go down in a cage and off the boat, nothing will be going on. I'll look at my feet and there's a bloody big shark in my face. Bloody hell, I shit myself then. Anyway, back to it. What I wanted to talk about next. Eriksen, just very quickly, then a couple of other things. So Christian Eriksen, I tweeted this afternoon, and I do firmly believe this, because I was told last Wednesday that if you were going, I was told by somebody very close to this deal, in fact, they said to me last Wednesday, and I did a video on it, if you want to do a percentage on Eriksen coming to Manchester United, go high. Now, that's just information. Like, all right, I'll go 90%, I'll go 87%, whatever. But actually, over the weekend, we've heard a lot about the whole. He's really thinking about Brentford. Now, I said it this afternoon, and I do think this. I think if Eriksen is needing to be persuaded, we might well have persuaded him today. Frenkie de Jong, Malacia, we're moving on for the centre back and Antony. I think Eriksen, really, this is coming down to whether we can give him game time and whether he wants to move to Manchester. I think it's as simple as that. This is a guy who was seriously ill on the pitch a year ago. He's come back and played when he thought he might not play again. Brentford have given him an opportunity. He loves playing in London, and it's about enjoying himself. I think if this was a different scenario, he'd probably run to Manchester. But I think he wants to enjoy his football and he wants to play. He's 30 years of age. He had a big scare last year. He wants to play for fun. And seriously, but he wants to play for fun. And I think basically he'll look at the business United are doing, and he'll basically be saying to Ten Hag, am I playing, or are you going to stick me on the bench as a backup to Bruno? And if he's playing, I think he'll sign. If he doesn't think he'll be playing, I don't think he'll sign. If he doesn't want to leave London, he won't sign. But I do think United, in selling a project, probably have done themselves no harm today. I really don't think that they have. So I think with Eriksen, a few people asking about that. That's where we are with that. And the funny thing is, Malacia could be our first signing. I don't think anyone predicted that. I remember doing a video about 4 weeks ago talking about where I thought we'd strengthen, and I put the clip up on Twitter today. I mentioned Malacia. I knew we were after Malacia. I just didn't know whether we would do it because I thought, by the time we get to signing him, for 13 million, you'd expect us to go for him at the end when we've got a bit of cash left. But, he could well be our first signing, which is interesting. But Eriksen could follow very, very quickly. June the 30th is on Thursday. Friday the 1st is when these people are completely free agents. So we'll see. I'm relaxed about Eriksen. If we get him, it's a player that Ten Hag wants. If we don't get him, we don't get him. I respect Eriksen. I think everybody does. If he decides he wants to stay in London and play at Brentford, he decides to do that. I wouldn't wish him. I certainly wouldn't be sat there going, knobhead, why haven't you chosen Manchester United? I think it's great that he's still playing football. He'd be very welcome at Manchester United, but if he wants to stay at Brentford, he can. But I hope he comes to United because it's what Ten Hag wants. It's not necessarily what I want. I mean, I don't really understand why we need another attacking midfielder, especially when you see some of these young lads in training at the moment, these Garnachos and the Mabrys and, Shota Tires and even people like Ahmad, presumably a lot of these will go on loan. There's a few things I wanted to touch on very, very quickly. That cat, I've spotted you now, you little shit. You're not going to ambush me. Imagine being a bird. You're there playing in your nest. A big fucking cat appears. Bloody little twat. He's confused why I'm in the car. That's what it is. Doing a stream. Anyway, so I know Beth touched on these maybe earlier. I didn't listen all the way through. I was trying to sort out my FIFA career mode, but just three things I want to talk about. Three big stories I want to talk about. So Gnabry, we got linked to Gnabry as a backup for Anthony. We haven't got Anthony yet, so let's not dismiss it. Gnabry's a player that's been mentioned with Manchester United. My issue with Gnabry is that I think he'd be very expensive, and I think he's a bit inconsistent. He's arguably a better player than Anthony, but I think Anthony's got a higher ceiling. Gnabry is two-footed, to be fair. I mean, but just because you're two-footed, he's right-footed and he can use his left foot very, very well. Great. But we actually need a very left-footed player. And I know that doesn't make sense because people say, well, it's better to be two-footed, and 100% it is. I don't understand why a lot of footballers aren't two-footed. But Anthony has a wonder left foot, and that is what we need. We need that inverted right side player with the left foot. We're crying out for a first team player who's an attacker with a left foot, and I think Anthony for me is the better choice. So if Gnabry's the backup and we can't get Anthony, then I would certainly be open to it if it's what Ten Hag wants. But interesting. Then I think it was Paul Hurst was talking about Tielemans. This is encouraging because it's the first time we've heard about Tielemans in a long time, and we know that Tielemans is available. So I'm quite intrigued by the Tielemans link. Look, internet's not gone down. Don't worry. Yeah, the situation with Manchester United, if you can remember the morning show, we've done so much since then. The situation this morning is that Manchester United are only going to bring De Jong on in the midfield. As I said, you can predict our transfer window for the first time today. Malacia, De Jong, Eriksen, centre-back, Anthony. I reckon that'll be it. I'd love to add a Tielemans into that, or a Sangari or someone like that. And it's doable. It's logical. It's a no-brainer. Drawty messaged me today and said it's a no-brainer to go for Tielemans, and he's right. Tielemans is better than Fred. He's better than McTominay. And the thing about Tielemans is he can play in a midfield too. And you could play De Jong and Tielemans, and I wouldn't have a massive concern about, thought a dinosaur was coming there. I thought it was rocking. And you could play Tielemans with De Jong, basically. Tielemans is tenacious. He's good on the ball. He can get forward. In a typical Ten Hag midfield too, which is what I've been talking about for a long time, and a lot of people do, we've got to dismiss this holding midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, attacking midfielder. We're going to play with a high line with fullbacks who can attack, and we're going to play with two midfielders who can join the attack, dictate the press, but also get back and help the defence and be disciplined. Tielemans can do that. De Jong can do that. And as a two, I think they'd work really well. I'd like Tielemans at Manchester United. I would like Tielemans at Manchester United. And I think we could get him. I know it's Leicester, but I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. I think Leicester will do a deal for 40 million. And I think Tielemans and De Jong, for a combined fee of 96 million, would be a real steal. I just don't think United are going to do a deal like this, but I would take Tielemans. And I know some people don't rate him and he didn't have a great season last year, but he's way better than Fred and he's way better than McTominay. And I would like us to go for Tielemans because I'd love us to go for that second midfielder. But as I said this morning, it's not a priority for United at the moment. They're not really looking at it. But the fact that there's a player there that we could do it with, look, never say never. The transfer window's open for a bit of time yet. But that leads me lovely onto the same article, which was from Paul Hurst in the Times, talking about Tielemans as a potential option. And then he said that Manchester United haven't had any offers for Scott McTominay yet. Surprise, surprise! No offers for Scooby-Doo! Well, I'm not surprised. And it also goes on to say that Man United wouldn't accept them anyway because Erik ten Hag sees him as a key part of his plans for next season. I don't know how he sees him as a key part of his plans for next season because he hasn't bloody trained with him yet. And as I said on Twitter this afternoon, if he's going off last season's bloody DVD season review, one, he must have been pissed when he bought it. And two, he must have been absolutely hammered when he watched it if he thinks that McTominay is integral to his plans. I mean, I don't know who's put this out, but how can Erik ten Hag think that Scott McTominay is integral to his midfield plans next year? He was crap last year. And he hasn't even trained with him yet. So is it Darren Fletcher or John Murtaugh or someone telling him that this is an integral part of your plans? I don't get it. And also, look, McTominay could be brilliant next season. You know, I might win the lottery. Arsenal might win the league. No, let's get in the chat with speculative things that won't happen. But McTominay could be brilliant next year. And I'm sure he'll put the effort in because he's a very honest, hardworking lad. But the thing, if I'm absolutely honest, that I look at with McTominay, and there's lots of reasons, but when people say to me that Erik ten Hag sees Scott McTominay as integral to his plans, he must be bloody Yoda or something. He must be able to look into the future, because how can you think McTominay's integral to your plans without training him and seeing something that makes you think that? Because what is Erik ten Hag's football all about? It's about possession, it's about passing, and it's about being comfortable with the ball. Scott McTominay last season as a midfielder who's meant to take the ball off the back four, so should be touching it a lot, was averaging about 41 passes per game, per 90. 41. Someone like Declan Rice is around 60. Someone like Rodri's hitting 90. So what is it in Scott McTominay's game that would make Erik ten Hag go, yeah, he's integral to my plans? A midfielder for Erik ten Hag has to get on the ball, be confident on the ball, want the ball, and then pass the ball and then get it back and want the ball. McTominay never wants the ball. He goes hiding and he hardly ever passes. So, look, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do laugh sometimes when people say, oh, such and such is integral to his plans. And you could say the same about Bruno. Look, let's not just do it for McTominay. Bruno's integral to his plans. Rashford's integral to his plans. Maguire's integral to his plans. So a 29-year-old centre-back who's slow and doesn't like being left on his own and covering the flanks is integral to a Ten Hag system. Okay. I'm not saying it won't happen, but he doesn't actually have the attributes. Neither does McTominay for a Ten Hag system. Bruno, on his day, one of the best attacking midfielders in the league. But is he a number 10 who likes to be patient on the ball, who probes, who will keep the ball rather than hit a Hollywood pass? Well, no, we haven't seen evidence of that.
Well, we were going to lose him at some point, and it appears we have lost him there. I mean, he has been going for half an hour, so I'll just see if he comes back in a minute. We have no idea. That was always going to happen. Obviously, this is one of the weirdest streams, so let's get on the... Oh, is he back? He's back! Way! You're back now. You're fine.
All right. Okay.
You can carry on. It's fine.
I'm back now. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. I had to put some money in the meter. Wi-Fi bridge. The cat attacked me, but yeah, it's I forgot to say, yeah. So like, yeah, Marcus Rashford again. Like you speak about Bruno, you speak about Marcus Rashford again. Integral. You know, we've heard about Rashford, integral to Ten Hag's system. He can't wait to work with him. Well, again, Marcus Rashford's a winger that gets his head down, shoots, runs at players, runs into blind alleys. I don't like to see stories where McTominay, Maguire, Bruno, Delot, Shaw, Rashford, Fred, a few others are integral to Erik Ten Hag's plans when he's not trained any of them yet. And actually, they don't naturally fit his system. Some of them will. He'll change the way they play and he'll train them up. But let's be honest, they don't fit the system, do they? So, look, I don't take much notice of that's what I'm trying to say. When I read a story that says such and such is integral to Ten Hag's plans, and I think, well, he hasn't trained them yet. And if he's watched them on the season review last year, we've got a problem. You know, how can you think they're integral when he's not had any time with them? So I don't worry about those sort of stories. They make me laugh. What I'm concerned with at the moment is signing players, and it actually is starting to happen. Anyway, look, before it drops out again, because it could be data or something like that, at least we've got an 8 o'clock show done at 8:30 for half an hour, and a few of you tuned in, which is great. So smash a like on the video, make sure you subscribe. It's been a different stream, but we did one, and that's what we do. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll obviously be back with the morning show tomorrow, and you never know, we might be back at 10:30 tonight or 11 o'clock tonight, reacting to some transfer news. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, you've been fantastic. I've survived a cat attack, and I'll speak to you all in a bit.